Mr. Daley, when your appointment was announced, big business, the Chamber of Commerce, and frankly, a lot of Republicans were delighted because as far as big business goes, you're part of it. You were a part of business, although you have a long political background. Do you think that the administration went too far in demonizing Wall Street and business, and is your appointment a signal that that is going to change?
No, I don't think it's about demonizing Wall Street or listen, there were serious difficulties in the nation, and the president was very direct to the business community, to the political system, that we have to make changes. We have to do certain things. No question, there were lots of abuses over the years, not only in business, but in government and excesses that took place. And the president was very direct. Some people take umbrage at the fact that they're scolded by a president. But when you consider the depth of the problems that this president faced, he was very blunt, very direct. He speaks bluntly in a positive way about the business community when they should be praised and other institutions. But when there's real reason for criticism, this president won't shy from doing that.
It's not hard to figure out that you didn't like the president's health care plan. You said so when it was passed, when you were in private enterprise. You said it basically went too far. Do you think it ought to be changed, and where?
No, what I was commenting on was the politics, really, of the movement, of the moment around healthcare. I thought it was a very difficult climate to try to accomplish what they tried to, and I think the results, because of the misinterpretation of healthcare by many people, had a negative impact on Democrats. But I absolutely believe, having been in business and hearing from business people the importance of a need for the reform of health care, it was the business community that was really saying to the politicians, this is costing us too much. It's too much of a wet blanket on the economy.
So do you think that the plan that they passed is just perfect and should be left alone? Or
no, the president has said he's open to changes to this. He is not open to refighting the entire fight of health care. People have suggestions on how to make it better, but he's not in favor of fighting this fight.
The president made quite a point in his State of the Union message to talk about the infrastructure and what we need to do to overhaul it and improve it. People on all sides seem to agree that it does need some work. What he didn't talk about is how do you pay for that? How are you going to pay for that?
Well, I think you'll see in the budget an attempt to pay for an expansion in that. I think there's a lot of interest. We've heard from the private sector to come in and finance some of the high-speed rail. Even foreign governments and foreign companies have talked about coming in to finance some of these projects. If there's a public partnership, I think that's a creative way to go forward.
Do you think the president would ever entertain raising the gas tax, the gasoline tax, to pay for some of that?
I don't think raising the taxes on the American people right now is the way to go in this point of our economy. But we want to sit down with the leadership of Congress as we work through the deficit, as we work through the other issues, and talk about the possibilities. The reality is, as certain people in the Republican Party have said, there's no way they're going to look for any revenue raising in any way, shape, or form. That puts a tremendous constraint on, obviously, the budget and the deficit.
The Republicans are also talking about coming in there and whacking $55 billion out of this year's budget, the 2012 budget. Do you think figures like that are actually feasible? Is that realistic?
Well, you know, it's the old saying, where's the beef? Let's see exactly the cuts they're talking about and see whether the American people believe that those such cuts, albeit we all agree there must be cuts to this government. And again, you're going to see this president lay out a very substantial cut. Already the freeze amounts to $400 billion over 10 years. Again,
it's going to take a lot more than that.
It will take a tremendous amount more than that. And we've got to work our way over many years. We got in this hole over many years. You're not going to get out of it. You cannot. No business, when they get in trouble, just cuts and has much of a business when the cycle comes back. What the president has talked about is investing. And the time to invest while you're cutting is to take some of those cuts, invest them in things that will have a return as you come out of this recession. That's what successful companies do, and that's what the government's got to do.
The president has been heard to say to people in the White House that he feels like he can do business with Mitch McConnell. He thinks he can do business with John Boehner. But he's not sure that they can do business with the Tea Party. What do you see happening here? Do you think Republicans can come together and find a way to present some sort of a united front to
Well,
work with the president or to oppose the president? Or
I would hope that they come together to work for the American people along with the president. We have divided government. Nothing's going to get done unless it's done with Republicans and Democrats coming together. Obviously, there's factions in the Republican Party that may have the attitude, say no to everything in anticipation of an election next year. The American people do not want to wait around for almost 2 years to see some serious addressing of these problems by the political system. They're going to expect us all to do that. And there is disagreement amongst Democrats. But the president has said he's willing to sit down because we must have progress, and the only way we have progress, and this may be a good thing out of the situation of November and the election, is that is the parties have got to come together, or else the American people are going to hold everybody accountable, and the people who think that they've got some great benefit by just saying no, they're saying no to the American people, not to this president.
Bill Daley, we hope you'll come back many times while you're in the White House. Thank you for being with us.